Hey humans, this is Master69. I hope everyone is feeling fine and welcome to my Divinity Original Sin 2 review. But before I go into the normal format, I just wanted to save everyone some time. I just wanted to bring to the front of the show the fact that I think that Divinity Original Sin 2 is an absolutely amazingly deep, lovingly made wonderful game. So if you're into turn-based combat, if you're into RPGs and you have a PC that can run this game, go and get it. You don't need to watch the rest of this video. This game is in the running for Game of the Year personally for the games that I've played. So go out and get it now and play it. You won't regret it. So I just wanted to put that up front to not waste anyone's time. But anyway, let's go into the usual format and let's get the review underway. Oh yes.
A little bit of the background, guys. So DOS 2, as it's affectionately known, was developed by Belgium-based Larian Studios, which is a relatively small studio that was formed in 1996 and is really focused mainly on RPG games. Having said that, interestingly to me anyway, they've released a educational game called Ketnet Kicked, which was released in 2004, and I think in 2008 or 2006, I've forgotten, they released Ketnet Kick 2 as well. Now, these games were aimed at 6-year-olds and they provided pretty much a kind of 3D platform for kids to engage with puzzles, engage with different types of educational videos, and engage with spaces that allowed them to create content as well. It seems like Ketnet Kick is still going on from what I can tell. They have a web page, they have a radio station, and really today they've kind of morphed from just being a game into a multimedia platform. So good on Larian Studios for really spicing up different techniques to educate the children of Belgium. Well done. But besides education, as I said before, their core existence, Larian, is RPG games. So their first RPG game was LED Wars in 1998, and there was another project called The Lady, the Mage, and the Knight, which was cancelled. Now, I think what happened was that The Lady, the Mage, and the Knight was actually their first game, but they couldn't get it published, so they went and developed LED Wars to kind of prove their talent to the publishers. But unfortunately, LED Wars did get published, and The Lady, the Mage, and the Knight got cancelled anyway. In 2002, they released Divine Divinity, and in 2004 that was quickly backed up by Beyond Divinity. Fast forwarding to 2014, Larian Studios released Divinity Original Sin. In 2015, it was Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition, and that's where yours truly first got introduced to Rivellon. Obviously, in 2017, as a result of a successful Kickstarter, Divinity Original Sin 2 was released on PC. I don't think there's an announcement yet for consoles, but watch this space. The story. Well, guys, I think, and don't hate on me if I'm wrong, but I think DOS 2 occurs 1000 years after DOS 1, and essentially the script is flipped. In DOS 1 you played the role of a source hunter, where you went and hunted down sorcerers. In DOS 2 they've thrown you over the fence, and now you play the role of a sorcerer. And in the world at this point in time, the divine called Lucian has passed away, and for all the fans that already know this, when there's no divine, everything goes to shit in Rivellon. And just on cue, as the divine dies, the world of Rivellon is now being invaded, and every village is being pillaged by the evil beasts from the void, called the Void Woken. So the Magisters, who despise the sorcerers and in fact blame them for Void Woken, are now reacting badly. They're imprisoning all the sorcerers, they're torturing them, they're killing them if you resist, and in fact they're now mutating some of the sorcerers to become weapons of mass destruction like the Shriekers, or they are enslaving them by turning the sorcerers into pretty much zombie slaves that fight for them. So it's a little bit ironic that the Magisters despise Source, but they're happy to use Source/sorcerers in their fight against the Void. And really, in this backdrop is where the story starts. You and your soon-to-be party member/friends are thrown onto a island prison called Fort Joy, where all the sorcerers are kind of being thrown into. You have some very important early decisions to make, which is who's going to be in your party. There are several characters, and I do recommend that you choose the origin characters, ladies and gentlemen, because the origin characters, each one of them has got a backstory and their own story arc as well. So if you don't choose these characters, you will essentially miss out on their storylines and the interactions between these different party members. And I don't think Divinity Original Sin, the actual main quest, was designed to have that omitted. So please play with the with the origin characters, not the custom mode. Now, the beginning is a solid beginning. You're prisoners like an Elder Scrolls game, and your main drive is pretty much to escape, which is awesome. I like the simple premise. It becomes quickly a very complex world, and there are a lot of different factions at play. So I like the simple premise. It gives you time to absorb the mechanics, to absorb the world, and get onto your feet. The ending of the game, guys, is extremely memorable. I loved it. It's epic. There's a lot of decisions to be made that are extremely important, and also everything that you kind of believe in potentially gets turned on its head, which was sobering and again very memorable, and an extremely solid ending in Divinity Original Sin 2. The middle parts of the game, from the sheer fact that this is a very large game that does zero hand holding, there's a lot of hardcore mechanics in this game. There is no pretty arrows telling you where to go. There is no clues telling you where to search. You need to earn your stripes in this game, and there's pros and cons to that. I personally love it. You have to have the attitude of just relaxing and going with the flow and exploring the world, and slowly you start progressing the different quests. If you're impatient, you'll probably end up Googling the answer to every quest, and that's not really how this game is meant to be played. It's really a shout out to old school mechanics. Patience, perseverance, exploration, and creativity are really needed to get through this game, which I personally like. Some people might be thrown off those type of mechanics. But having said that, the story in the middle does tend to get a little bit confusing. You can tend to forget exactly what's motivating you to do the things that you do. The character stories of your companions, to be honest, could have been done a little bit more impactful, in my opinion. They could have been a bit more emotional. Some of them tended to fizzle out, I suppose. So I was a little bit like, oh, okay, that's the end of that one. But again, the ending makes up for it all, in my opinion. All in all, guys, DOS 2's story is much better than DOS 1's, and the solid ending and the simple beginning, really, I give it a thumbs up. Maybe not 2 thumbs up, but I certainly give it a thumbs up. Now the gameplay. Well, this game, I mean, let's put aside the fact that they've made a dungeon master mode for all the DMs out there that want to play with their friends. Is again just we are humbled that Larian Studios has made such a component. So a massive tick for that mode. You can play with your friends, which is great. You can also play split screen, or you can play obviously single player. This game is, let's start from the beginning, it's a top-down, turn-based, stop-start role-playing game. And it's pretty much one of the best top-down, turn-based, stop-start role-playing games ever made. The combat is as deep as an ocean. There is a lot to get your head around here, guys. There are so many different mechanics, so many different spells, so many different options at play. You are playing the most complex chess game I've ever played. There are so many things that can happen, and all of that together adds to a massive amount of excitement every time you enter combat. And when you win, it's an amazing feeling as well, especially if you play on the harder modes. Now, there are different elements, just like the first game. There is, water and ice, there is fire, there is poison, there is earth, and all of these different elements react and can chain react off each other. You could set off a domino effect in the middle of a fight that you had no idea would happen, and that domino effect could either turn the tide for you, or it could turn the tide against you. Again, adding another element and layer of unknown and excitement, and really kind of, you realize halfway through this game you really can think outside the box. If you're getting stuck in a particular fight, just come at it from a totally different angle, use totally different abilities, and soon you'll see that you persevere and have some success. So the combat for a turn-based game is top notch. There is nothing better than this game in regards to the combat mechanics. Also, the crafting mechanics are very tongue-in-cheek. They're quite funny, in fact, when you think about it, and very deep. I think in my 100 hours, I really just scratched the surface of the crafting mechanics. There are so many things you can make. Thankfully, there are recipes that you can learn, and you can easily just go to your recipe menu, and if you've got the ingredients for stuff, they're highlighted. You can click on them and create stuff as well. But really, you need to experiment, and you'll see that you can craft a lot of different things. The funny crafting things that I found was, for example, if you've got a normal dinner, you can make it into an elven dinner by adding what? Ketchup. That's right. So in Rivellon, anything with ketchup on it is elvish, which is quite tongue-in-cheek. Another handy thing I found, for example, was, as I was exploring Rivellon, there was nails everywhere, and I was like, what the hell do you use nails for? And I quickly found out that you can hammer these nails into the bottom of your shoes, and they will stop you from sliding on slippery surfaces like ice and so forth. So yeah, the crafting again was very tongue-in-cheek. It was quite funny. If you just sit and think about what these guys have done, and again, yeah, there's no complaints at all. The only minor complaint I have about this game in the combat is the allies that are fighting on your side suddenly start making really bad errors, and I don't know why. A lot, like when you're fighting against people, they are brutal and they can wipe you out. But as soon as they became my ally via a charm spell, for example, they would become Neanderthals and they would make really stupid mistakes. They would sometimes move and not even attack, which was very frustrating, and they would cast the same spell twice. So I really didn't understand why they suddenly became a lot dumber when they became my ally. But anyway, so be it. It's a minor tripe. It didn't really break the game. Another point of note that I like is Larian Studios have broken away from the whole trinity of RPGs, which is tank, healer, and DPS, right? That everyone just carbon copies. you have to earn your tanking in this game. Just because a guy's got armor and he's got a shield and helmet on, guess what? The AI ain't going to hit him. They're going to go and hit your weaker characters, just like we do against against NPCs. The AI in DOS 2 does exactly the same thing back at us. They're not going to just start automatically hacking the big dude with the armor on. They're going to fly over that guy and smack straight into your healer. A lot of people complain about that, but they're just stuck in this trinity of tank, DPS, and blah blah blah. How to tank? You need to get the abilities that enable you to tank. That's what you need to do. So I found that to be quite refreshing. Now the graphics was absolutely charming. I found the voice acting was mind-blowing. The amount of voice acting in this game is inconceivable, and they've done an amazing job. The performance of the game was extremely solid for me. One of my Twitch viewers said that his save game got corrupted and he had to start again, which sounds pretty bad, but that didn't happen to me. And I played up to nearly 150 hours, to be honest. So all in all, guys, Divinity Original Sin 2 is really a love letter to role-playing games and old school role-playing mechanics. It is made with love. It is made with so much detail. I mean, you could zoom in and see the stains on coffee cups, on dishes. You could see mud stains on the bottom of Major's robes. You could zoom in and see the thread of the canvas on paintings. The detail is mind-boggling. And you can just tell the amount of love that the developers at Larian Studios have poured into this game, and they've made one for the ages. So well done, Larian Studios. I give Divinity Original Sin 2 a 4.5 out of 5 human skulls. Oh yeah. Take care, guys, and I'll see you next time.